who has covered major events including the war in Bosnia, the Gulf War, Rwanda, and Tiananmen Square. On the night of the crash, he was assigned by his office to get a picture of the princess and her companion outside the Ritz Hotel. He says he got his photographs there, then left to rejoin some friends for dinner. He says strictly by happenstance, he came upon the crash scene about 10 to 15 minutes later. Once you saw the car, once you saw the wreckage, how long did it take you to recognize, wait a minute, this is the Mercedes in which Princess Diana and Dodi left? Did you recognize it immediately?
No. Because in my mind, I couldn't accept that that was a car I saw near the hotel.
Was Diana still in the car?
Yeah, she was inside.
Could you see her?
Very briefly, because policeman was standing near the door.
Could you see her breathing?
No, I think she looked unconscious.
Was a doctor working on her?
Yeah. Doctor and policeman near the car.
Inside the car?
I mean, looking inside the car. On the back seat.
You saw Mr. Al-Fayed taken out of the car?
Yeah.
Diana is still in the car?
Yeah.
You don't know whether she's alive or dead?
I couldn't know.
The driver of the car you saw or did not see?
I couldn't see him.
The bodyguard on the right-hand side?
I saw him.
Saw him?
Yeah.
Was he breathing?
Yeah, but badly injured.
From the police report, the police officer says of the photographers, says, they were virulent and objectionable, pushing, continuing to take photos, and willfully obstructing officers from assisting victims, quote unquote.
I didn't saw that. I didn't hear that. It was calm, and it was under their control at that time, when I arrived.
Did you do any of this?
No, because we gave our press card to the officer, and they let us at the place we were.
Rdmvtl told us that he believes some photographers who were following the car took photographs immediately after the crash and then fled before police arrived.
It's unacceptable. They are not photographers. They are I don't know, but it's not journalists. It's not journalists people. They are, in a way, they are killers.
You are not a paparazzi?
I am not paparazzi. On this story, I work in the respect of the law. And for me, I arrive after the police. I arrive after the emergency people. And I'm charged now, and I cannot accept that.
Are you afraid now?
You know, I am afraid of my country. Because for 20 years, I work in many countries, poor countries. And this story happened to me in my country, with my law, French law. What's going on?
Did you at any time on this story break any law?
Absolutely no.
Did you at any time refuse to do, decline to do anything the police asked you to do?
No.
Is your conscience absolutely clear?
My conscience is absolutely clear.
Do you think it's fair to say the press killed Diana?
No. Absolutely not. Maybe everybody is responsible. You, me, TV, newspaper. People would like to buy magazines.
She have any responsibility?
She's victim. She's victim.
Award-winning photographer Jacques Langevin of the Sigma Agency. Now you can see and hear much more of that interview on a special edition of 48 Hours, The People's Princess. That'll be tonight at 8 Central Time. Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News from Paris, word on the condition of the only survivor of the crash And who buys these pictures? The media moguls who profit from celebrity photos. And funeral plans being driven now by popular pressure, something unique for the palace. All this straight ahead as the CBS Evening News continues from London.
Part of your low-fat diet may help reduce your risk of some kinds of cancer.
Yeah, I saw that.
Another photographer facing possible manslaughter charges in the death of Princess Diana also talked today. Rdmvtl told French television that he had been following Diana's car, but that he did not see the accident. Ra said that after the crash, he tried to help. He said he opened the car door, saw the princess on the floor, and told her in English to stay calm. Help was on the way. Ra says he did not take pictures of the princess, but did photograph the car after help arrived. If Ra and the other photographers are charged, they will face both criminal action and civil suits, seeking millions in damages. CBS News correspondent Vicki Mabry in Paris is following that part of the story. Vicki?
Good evening, Dan. The families of Dodi Al-Fayed and the driver have already filed civil suits, and there are reports that Diana's relatives and the royal family may do the same, but royal watchers, of course, are skeptical of that. The driver's family wants his name cleared. They say he was not drunk, and they want new blood tests. But one attorney for a photographer that I spoke with today said that he's seen the hospital toxicology reports, and when I asked how often those tests are wrong, he said never. In any event, criminal and civil suits are joined together in France, so you'd never have a case like O.J. Simpson's, where the defendant was found not guilty of criminal charges, but still held liable in a civil suit. It may be a long time before any of these cases goes to court. Investigators still need to question the bodyguard, the only survivor, but he suffered such serious head and facial injuries that it may be weeks, if ever, before he's able to talk. Dan?
Thanks, Vicki. Here in London, amid the still growing crowds of mourners and the growing anger of some of them at what they see as the royal family's cold silence, Buckingham Palace scrambled to respond today. Among other things, the route of the funeral procession has now been expanded. Instead of just 1 mile from St. James Palace to Westminster Abbey, the new 3-mile route goes from Diana's home at Kensington Palace to the Abbey. Then, after Saturday's funeral, the procession will go 77 miles out of London to the parish church of Diana's ancestors. Tom Fenton is at beleaguered Buckingham Palace again tonight. Tom?
Dan, the fact that the route of the funeral procession has been changed is more evidence that Buckingham Palace is being forced to respond to public opinion. The lines waiting to sign the dozens of books of condolence have grown. The waiting time is getting longer, and still they come. The young princes, together with their father Prince Charles, are not expected back from Scotland until Friday. And it was only this afternoon, for the first time since the tragedy, that we saw the human side of Buckingham Palace when an aide to Prince Charles broke the silence.
We are deeply touched and enormously grateful.
Westminster Abbey is being turned into a massive sound stage in preparation for the unique service still being planned. Princess Diana's friend, Elton John, whom she comforted at Gianni Versace's funeral, may be invited to sing, but it's not yet sure. Diana may have lived in a world of superstars and kings, but it was her common touch that has generated the groundswell of public affection this week. One of the many lives she touched was this little girl, a heart patient at a London hospital. Her mother will never forget the princess's concern.
She wanted to know how we coped as a family, and if there was anything. She even offered, to do our washing. If we needed washing doing, to take it to Kensington Palace, that kind of involvement with us. And it made you feel that she understood.
That kind of story, and there are dozens of them, makes people feel that by contrast, the royal family doesn't understand. Listen to what one senior clergyman of the Church of England has to say.
It adds up to a pretty big indictment. And my visits to St. James's Palace and to Pall Mall, listening to people, is that they are beginning to get angry now. And the English are a vicious lot. So after the funeral, there will be a good deal of anti-royalist feelings expressed, I'm sure.
In fact, some people think that if Prince Charles came back to London now to meet the crowds of mourners, he might, just might, be booed. Dan?
Yes. Thank you, Tom. In Washington tonight, news about the still unfolding investigation of campaign fundraising. The Justice Department is now reviewing whether allegations that Vice President Gore illegally solicited donations should warrant a preliminary...
Summer's close.